Hi everyone, welcome back to Exploring Nonviolent Communication. Today we're discussing Chapter 7 of Marshall Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. This chapter is titled Receiving Empathically. Alex, this chapter emphasizes the importance of empathy in our interactions. What stood out to you the most?
The concept of empathy itself is incredibly powerful. Rosenberg describes empathy as a respectful understanding of what others are experiencing. He makes a distinction between offering empathy and offering sympathy or advice. It's about being present and really listening to the other person without jumping to fix their problem. How about you? What did you find most striking?
I completely agree. What struck me was how Rosenberg explains that true empathy requires us to put aside our own thoughts and feelings temporarily. He mentions that often, instead of giving empathy, we tend to relate the other person's experiences to our own or offer solutions. This can actually hinder the connection rather than help it.
Yes, and he gives some great examples of how we often respond with sympathy or advice instead of empathy. For instance, when someone shares a problem, we might say, I know exactly how you feel. I went through the same thing. Or Kiyuyu, have you tried this solution? These responses shift the focus away from the person's feelings to our own experiences or solutions.
Right? And that's a common pitfall. Rosenberg suggests that we should instead listen for the feelings and needs behind the words. For example, if someone says, I'm so overwhelmed with work, we can respond with, it sounds like you're feeling really stressed because you need some support. This kind of response shows that we're tuned into their emotional state and underlying needs.
That's a great point. I also liked how Rosenberg talks about the importance of presence. He mentions that sometimes just being there and listening without saying anything can be incredibly powerful. This can be challenging, especially when we feel the urge to help or solve the problem, but it's essential for genuine empathy.
Definitely. He also discusses the importance of silence in empathy. Sometimes we need to give the other person space to fully express themselves. It can be uncomfortable, but those moments of silence can actually encourage deeper reflection and sharing.
I agree, although I must admit I sometimes find it hard to stay silent. I feel like I need to fill the space or offer something valuable. But Rosenberg makes it clear that our presence and attentiveness are what's truly valuable.
It's a common struggle, Alex. Another important aspect Rosenberg highlights is the need to avoid agreeing or disagreeing with the person. Instead of evaluating what they're saying, we should focus on understanding. For instance, if someone says, my boss is so unfair, rather than agreeing or disagreeing, we might say, it sounds like you're feeling really frustrated because you value fairness at work.
That's a subtle but powerful shift. It keeps the focus on their experience rather than inserting our own judgments or opinions. Rosenberg also introduces the concept of empathic guessing, where we try to guess the feelings and needs of the other person based on what they're expressing. This can help deepen the connection and show that we're really trying to understand them.
Yes, and empathic guessing can be very effective. However, it's important to do it in a way that invites correction. For example, are you feeling upset because you need more recognition for your work? This way, if we're off the mark, the other person can clarify without feeling misunderstood.
Exactly. Empathic guessing is about facilitating understanding, not about getting it right the first time. Rosenberg also stresses the importance of self-empathy. Before we can truly empathize with others, we need to be in touch with our own feelings and needs. This self-awareness allows us to be more present and less reactive.
Self-empathy is crucial. It helps us approach others from a place of understanding and calm rather than stress or judgment. To wrap up, the key takeaways from Chapter 7 are the importance of being present, listening without judgment, and focusing on the feelings and needs behind the words. Empathy is about connection, not about fixing problems or offering advice.
Well said, Darowan. I hope our listeners find these insights helpful and start practicing empathy in their daily interactions. Thank you all for joining us today. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore Chapter 8 of Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. Until next time, Keep communicating with compassion.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.